Islam, everyone. Islam, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Veda Makem. Once again, it's good to be in the number. Today, we present to you forms of governmental authority over territory. We have a good one for you this evening. Yes. Now, to understand this concept of forms of governmental authority over territory, the basic principle of sovereignty and jurisdiction needs to be grasped. State territory and its appurtenances, airspace and territorial sea, together with the government and population within its boundaries, constitutes the physical and social base for the state. Now, the concept of state has been distorted and nation, and oftentimes people will interchange nation and state as though they have the same etymology, same epistemology, same origin, same application in international law. A nation, I've defined these two terms for you. A nation, a people connected by consanguinity, but but not yet organized into a political community and structure. In that case, that would be Moors, Moors who know that Moors, and millions of Moors who have yet to come to know that they're Moors. We are indeed a nation of people, conquered, defeated. But are we a state? Are we organized in a political body of civics? And state is a legal person. In international law, a state is a legal person, has a legal personality. A people organized into a political community by constitution and recognized by the international community. So you have the term nation and the term state. And you'll see the term nation state, which means a people who have connected by consanguinity and culture and who have organized into a political community through a constitution and recognized by the international community. The term nation state. So these concepts are very important. Now, forms of governmental authority over territory. You have the occupation, the occupying sovereign, and the consanguinity allodial sovereign of the land. Now, there are different forms of governmental authority over territory. You have here the land cession treaties, where we have occupying sovereigns, Spain, Portugal, France, the Netherlands, England / Great Britain, over the period of close to 500 years, that have claimed territorial sovereignty over our land, Morocco. And as a result, these occupying sovereigns have transferred our land one to another through what's called land cession treaties, creating land boundaries. So this is a one form of governmental authority over territory. You have the case of Japan or Hong Kong, China. Hong Kong was leased to Great Britain. for I think 100 plus years, and that lease ran out 1997. It was a 10-day, 2 weeks of ceremonies, 1997. I remember that vividly. And that after I think 190-year lease. So that was another form of governmental authority over territory. In that case, that part of China, Hong Kong, was under British rule for decades. So then you have the transfer of sovereignty, whereby the sovereigns of the land transfer territorial sovereign control of their land and resources to an occupying sovereign through treaty. You also have another form of governmental authority over territory is invasion and conquest. So these different forms of governmental authority over territory has occurred over the period of centuries. Now, when it comes to our land, Morocco, as I mentioned, Spain and Portugal, the Netherlands, France, England have gained control and have transferred, they called created political zones through land cession treaties. And in the land cession treaties that were among the various European powers, Spain, Portugal, France, and Netherlands, over the period of 500 years, they outlined in the treaty, the language in the treaty, the boundaries. And as a result of, and from the negotiation of the treaties, they create boundary maps that you learned in school. You're familiar with these boundary maps. You learned it in school. We all are. You learn these boundary maps in geography class. I'm explaining why I'm doing this. I'm not saying geography class. I'm doing geography class. It's the reason why I'm doing that. So in the geography class, you've been exposed to the different European boundaries, in our land, or say, have North America, Central America, South America, and you see the different boundaries, land boundaries. Those are artificial. And the reason I did this, air quotes, geography, because geography means earth. All right? Measure. All right? Geography, all right? Earth recording. So earth, graph, recording. So the earth recording, so that's not is that an earth recording on the map? What they do is it's surveys are done. They have land survey companies that survey the land, our land, and they're resurveying, and they continue to resurvey, and then they'll also transfer the territorial control of our land and resources to another occupying sovereign. But the names on the maps, on the European political boundary maps, are not the name of the land. Those are the political organizations, but not the name of the land. It's not Ohio and Illinois and Florida. And we'll often hear Moors, or those who know they're Moors, they'll say Virginia territory, Florida territory, Tennessee territory, Michigan territory, territory. Terra means land. So what you're saying is Michigan, the land of Michigan, the land of Virginia, the land of Florida, the land of South Carolina, the land of North Carolina. I didn't know North Carolina was a landmass. I didn't know South Carolina was a landmass. I didn't know Virginia, Florida, Georgia. I didn't know they were landmasses. That's new to me. So that's a conditioning. That's a parroting. We're parroting. There must be epistemological thinking and etymological thinking. So when you say Virginia territory, we want to stop and analyze that. All right. Delaware territory. Virginia territory. Land. How does this relate to the land, Virginia? The land. What does Virginia and territory have? How does territory and Virginia relate? They don't. How does the word Delaware and territory relate? What's the relationship between the word Delaware and territory? I mean, Delaware and territory means land, but Delaware is not a land. That's a European political organization that's doing business on the land, but it's not a fixture. This is very important that we get our language correct. Just as we are attempting to reclaim the sovereignty, well, we'll take one step forward and two steps back. Then we take one step forward and three steps back. Then one step forward and two steps back. And one step forward and one step forward and two steps back. You're not getting anywhere. You're not. So it's analysis, epistemological thinking, a branch of philosophy of how one knows knowledge. So we are teaching analytical skills through the teachings of epistemology, grammar, semantics, pragmatics, etymology, logic, rhetoric. All right, so this is very important that we come to comprehend this, because we hear that a lot. I'm in Virginia territory. I'm in North Carolina territory. I'm in Florida. We hear that a lot. Oh, I domicile in Delaware territory. I domicile in Virginia territory. You domicile on the land. This is an oxymoron. It's not. It's an oxymoron. This doesn't domicile in Delaware territory. It doesn't. It's not a territory. I domicile in Moorish land. I mean, that would be a lot better than saying this. I mean, you're at least claiming the land, you're at least saying more. Domicile in Morocco. I mean, that would be better than are domiciled in Morocco, where, the European political organization Delaware operates, are domiciled in Morocco, where the European political organization Virginia operates and do commerce, are domiciled in Georgia, are domiciled in Morocco, where the political organization Georgia operates. And, that's a lot better. If you don't, even if you don't know the ancient name of the land, you're saying Morocco, though. It's better than saying this: Delaware territory, Virginia territory. You're claiming the land, Morocco. You're making claims to the land. All right, so we are a nation of people that's been conquered, defeated, that's scattered through, we're scattered through misconcepts. Though we are in, through the misconcept, can't connect politically. So as we work the Moorish and Pure Restoration Caucus, as we have our meetings, our body politics formation classes on Wednesday nights from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday for 2 months now. We're working to help facilitate permanent populations among the various Moorish body politics. So that's getting back to this concept of sovereignty and jurisdiction. Now, the sovereignty and the forms of governmental authority over territory. Now, international leases is one, as I mentioned there. Let's look at here the territorial sovereign and occupational sovereign. All right. You're operating your vehicle on your Moorish soil. And you're pulled over by someone who works for the foreign jurisdiction, Delaware, or there'll be particularly one of the subdivisions, township, corporate town, or corporate city, or corporate borough, all right, corporate township. And because of the miseducation, of the false history, that person who went to school, they actually think the land is Cherry Hill. They think the land is Philadelphia. So you're operating on Moorish land, and they think you're operating the vehicle in Philadelphia. The land is Philadelphia. The land's not Philadelphia. The land's not Cherry Hill. The land's not Hatton Heights. The land's not Maryland. The land's not Atlanta. Why does this exist? Why does this exist in their mind? That you are in Atlanta. You're walking on the land. You're walking down the street on the land. Wilmington. This name Wilmington. Wilmington's not the land. I'm not walking in Wilmington. Why does that exist? Why do they think you're walking in Wilmington? Or walking in Atlanta, Cherry Hill, Camden? Where does that exist? Because that mindset exists. It's a false mindset. It's false. But it exists. How do we address that? How do we address that massive false mindset that exists among Asian Moors and Europeans of various descent? English, Irish, Scottish, Dutch, German, Russians, Polish, French on our land. Why don't they know that this is Morocco? Why don't the Albanians of French, Irish, German, Russian, English, Scottish descent know that this is Morocco? So we have some work to do. We have some work to do to get them to know that this is Morocco. It's going to take our political and national political unity. Forms of governmental authority over territory. How do we come to claim authority or reclaim authority over our land? What measures have to take place to do that? As we work through on Wednesday nights with these Moorish body politics formation courses to help facilitate a permanent population, the Montevideo Convention, the criteria of statehood, a permanent population, a major criterion for statehood, a permanent population. We're talking about a permanent population of those who know their Moors and operating and forming a political community. So that political community, not community, political, a stable community, political community. So we have community and stable political community. What is a community? People living together, but not binded by a constitution. What is a stable political community? Those who live in a geographical area that's binded by a constitution that forms a stable political community. So that's another criterion. So a defined territory being facilitated by a map created by that Moorish body politic. So these are the criteria of a state, of statehood. Now, when it comes to dealing with the international community, we the Moors will not be we will not be entering, we will be re-entering. We will always use the prefix re. We will use the prefix re. Always use the prefix re when it comes to us. The prefix re. Right? Not establish, reestablish. Not enter the international community, re-enter. Re-enter. It's called reversion to sovereignty. Not as a new state, but as an original and old state. This is mother. This is a pre-existing sovereignty. She's waiting for us, the prodigal child, as we are the prodigal child. So her prodigal children, her arms are wide open. So as we look back to mother, her arms are wide open, waiting for us to walk towards her. This is a pre-existing sovereignty that negotiated treaties with Denmark, France, the Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, England / Great Britain, Sardinia, United States between 1631 to 1892. Pre-existing obligations. You cannot rise without having knowledge of the pre-existing obligations on us. We have obligations on us. It's been handed down. The obligations in the treaties have been handed down. The protection in the treaties have been handed down. Mother is waiting for us. You have to rise with that knowledge of the pre-existing negotiations, pre-existing stipulations, pre-existing liabilities, pre-existing obligations in the treaties. You have to rise with that knowledge. Pre-existing protections, not under the United States Constitution, under the Moorish treaties negotiated with Denmark, France, Great Britain, Netherlands, Sardinia, Portugal. Pre-existing obligations. I've had my book in Moors and Masonry. List all the treaties between the 1640s and early 1900s between France and Morocco, France and the Netherlands, France and England / Great Britain. In the International Court of Justice in 1952, between France and the United States, 3 types of treaties were used to negotiate. Jurisprudence is the use of the volumes of decisions. So those jurists in 1952, in adjudicating that case, looked at the volumes of decisions, the volumes of treaties from 1631 to 1892 to determine, to make an adjudication on the case on who had the most favorable nation status. France was awarded the decision. They looked back to the volumes of decisions, the volumes of treaties, the volumes of cases. Nothing new. Right, so sovereignty and jurisdiction. Now, the forms of governmental authority over territory. When we're taught the concept of original jurisdiction, we're giving a concept that United States Supreme Court has original jurisdiction. You would only say that if you're a United States citizen. Why are you saying United States Supreme Court has original jurisdiction? Are you a United States citizen? Oh, yeah. No, one more. Yeah, but you can also be a United States citizen. Say, no, I'm a Moor. I'm lost. Couldn't you be a Japanese citizen and be a Moor? Couldn't you be a French citizen and be a Moor? Couldn't you be a Swedish citizen and be a Moor? Yes, yes, yes. Moor is your consanguinity, your ancestry, lineage. Renouncing allegiance and protection under your mother and pledging allegiance and protection of another mother. I mean, That's your blood, though. That doesn't change your blood. It's just a status change. Doesn't change your blood, though. It's just a status change. You're no longer under the protection. You no longer have allegiance to your mother. You're no longer under the protection of your mother. You're now under protection of a what? You're now being adopted by another mother, Japan or France or China. So that's what's called naturalization. That's all. I mean, that doesn't change your consanguinity. All right. So just want to lay down some of these fundamental principles. All right. As I bring Shem Malachi Bey up. So as we're looking at can you help him, T? Can you help him, please? Set up his computer because he's. Yeah, so as we continue to look at the sovereignty and jurisdiction, and as I said before, Morocco has the original jurisdiction. Morocco has the original jurisdiction in the British Dominion. What creates the British Dominion on Moorish soil? The treaties. The 1763 Treaty of Paris between Great Britain and France. And in Article 2 of that 1763 treaty between France and Great Britain, there are 16 treaties that are listed as the basis of that 1763 treaty. So the obligations of those 16 treaties are preserved in that Treaty of Paris of 1763. You have the 1856 treaty, the general treaty between Morocco and Great Britain, that deals with states that if any land, any by conquest or by treaty, so Jamaica, which is a British zone, and other islands, British zones. So these, so when I say Morocco has a original jurisdiction in the British zone, the British zone includes the United States jurisdiction. That's in your British zone. Morocco has the original jurisdiction. So when you say the United States Supreme Court has the original jurisdiction, you're speaking as if you're a United States citizen. Only a United States citizen would say that. Why are Moors saying that? Why are Moors saying that the United States Supreme Court has original jurisdiction? You're a United States citizen. Only a United States citizen would say that. That doesn't pertain to you. The United States Supreme Court doesn't have original jurisdiction when it comes to Moors in the British Dominion. The treaties, the Moorish treaties, protect Moors in the British Dominion. Moorish sovereignty doesn't come from the treaties. Moorish sovereignty existed to negotiate the treaties. So the language in the treaties preserve Moorish sovereignty. Now let's look at this one case here, 2000 case between the Mandapani tribe and the Commonwealth of Virginia. that case, let's look at what is it based off. Land reservoir, the reservoir, water reservoir rights. But the water reservoir rights are protected in the 1677 treaty between King Charles II of England, France, and Ireland, and the Indian kings and queens. What does it say, Virginia or United States? The United States and Virginia are not high contracted parties into. Why would someone born and raised on the reservation go to Virginia court? They don't have authority to speak. The treaty, the 1677 treaty, doesn't give them authority to speak. They don't have jurisdiction. Whether they got a favorable, all right, hear me out. If the decision was favorable, it's still wrong. Hear me out. Be careful with that. Be careful with that. Lucy, they tricking you. They tricked you, Lucy. You now gave them ability to speak on other issues. You relinquished the sovereignty. Whew, man, I sure. You relinquished the sovereignty. So there's a lack of understanding there. All right, I'm going to bring Shem Malachi Bey up. All right, so as he gets these, I'll continue to talk as he gets this computer up. All right, come on, Shem, real quick, please.
Yes, sir.
Get this to turn the computer on. All right.
Beautiful. Well,
so as we continue, as I said, we have the Wednesday classes.
What?
Come on, T.
Can they plug up?
All right. So as we continue,
oh, you got to plug up. Okay.
To develop the minds, restore our minds to who that Morocco has the original jurisdiction in the British Dominion. Morocco has the original jurisdiction. This has been raped from our minds. And by it, this fundamental concept of sovereignty, more sovereignty, and that Morocco having original jurisdiction in the British Dominion, being raped from our mind, makes it easier for the occupiers of our land to use us as sureties. And this is a segue into what Shem's going to be talking about. We're being used as sureties. Mother. We need Mother to speak for us. Mother. We're waiting. So she has her arms wide open, waiting for us to come to her. All right? Waiting for her to, so we can be wrapped in her bosoms. All right, so as we continue to meet on Wednesday nights and teach these principles of government and political body politic formation, so that we can formulate through political process of political legitimacy a central Moorish government. Getting back so we can be wrapped into her bosom. Right, you ready?
Yeah, got the Refugee Act up. I just got that too.
Which one we doing first?
We're gonna go into the Refugee Act. Put it here.
As we continue to, she's getting ready. So the transfer, let's getting back to reviewing state. Now, our concept of what a state is has been misleading. Well, because Japan's a state, France is a state, and we'll just say, we'll say North Carolina, state of North Carolina, state of Virginia, and what are they? What makes them a state? What makes Virginia a state? What makes North Carolina a state? South Carolina a state? Are they actually independent sovereign bodies? These are British subjects. These British subjects, all right, these British subjects had no sovereign power to unite. They're not the barons, they're not dukes, they're not earls. They were granted the title of esquire. But those esquire, knight, and gentlemen are granted. They're not inherited. So you have the barons, dukes, count, duchesses, king, queen, earl. They are bloodline. They're hereditary. But knight, esquire, and gentleman are granted. So the esquires, were at the Constitutional Convention, but they didn't have inherited power. All right. So we here with Shem Malachi Bay.
Yes. Let me narrow this down. Okay, we're going to the Refugee Convention. First, let me go to the UCC one. I'm going to get started on this because this goes into what Professor Abdullah was saying. Now, Professor Abdullah gave some potent facts and merit on territory, the difference between the territory and political jurisdiction. The problem is the Moors are not conscious of what that really means. So they have to be educated. And I think this is a fundamental, elementary way that Abdullah broke it down. If you are sovereign to the land, that means your motherland. That means it's a land that you claiming that your forefathers and mothers, forefathers, mother anciently inhabit the land. And the land was used for resources and to build, to live as a civilized nation. They handed it down through inheritance, and how it's handed down through education. This is why education is very important. Language. Pastor Abdullah right. When you hand something down, you have to hand it down. You're dealing with education. You're dealing with education. You're dealing with language. And languages change a lot of things when you set the definitions of the words. You set how the people are going to think and how you can control them. Now, the Uniform Commercial Code deals with collateral, real, there were bodies. It's real estate. When you say real estate, that just not narrowed down to erections, meaning that architect drawings. When you build something, architect draws it, does the excavation. But we talk about the unseen world when they came here and build their real estate, which is us. We come out of the earth. Now, this is a well-kept secret. We ain't supposed to know this, that we are real estate. Because our temples, our bodies are living, they occupy by a foreign invisible force that is occupying this temple in this natural realm. There's no mystery of jurisdiction in the unseen world. There's no confusion with this. It's in this world right here, where we at. We have to get our act together. We're being ushered in as cattle, like on a farm. We're being used for production, but we are not getting anything. Abdullah broke down what they're doing. And I'm gonna go when I go to the refugee treaty, it's also Article 11. When I read it, it's gonna blow your mind. You're gonna see that they're operating under this principle when your mother go in a hospital upon a vessel, the land, the state, the political state. It's an occupying jurisdiction, not territory. It's like having a vessel. They're building erections on the land. They're navigating on your land. Your mother is going into a foreign vessel. She's becoming part of the crew. What you talking about, Shem? She's signing documents to work for them. What do a foreign person do, lost at sea or come from another nation and go on a foreign ship and say, this your land? I don't want to be here anymore. I want to leave my land. They become a refugee. The moment they step on that ship and they sail off, the captain and the crew owner could treat them as anywhere because they don't have a country. They left their motherland. When a mother goes in, it is called legalized abduction, voluntarily done through education, language. Thank you. I appreciate you for going, Abdullah, Professor Abdullah, for bringing us to the knowledge, because me, myself, like I said, I was in the freezer, and I was pulled out of the freezer myself. So when a mother goes into the hospital, we're talking about UCC law now, you become a financial obligation to the state, the political state, which is a vessel navigating on your land. She goes in there, she becomes a member of the crew. She's a member now because she signed documents. She becomes a member. They get, to show you what I mean Article 11 of the Refugee Treaty, you know what I mean. They give her paperwork and documents. See, I know what I'm talking about. So since I'm there, before I get here, I'm going to go to this Refugee Treaty so you know I can bring you so you won't be lost. At Article 11, refugee seamen. You got that, Abdullah? I need you to be with me on this, Abdullah. Refugee seaman. Article 11 of the Refugee Convention, refugee seaman. In case of refugees regularly serving as crew members on board a ship flying the flag of a contracting state. Let me stop right there. Your mother walks into a hospital or any kind of clinic. They're flying the state of origin flag and the United States flag. When they fly the United States flag and the state of origin flag, now that's the contracting state. What do you mean, Shem? That's the state that's under the crown that signed a treaty with Morocco, the Moroccan government powers. So your mother goes into a state of origin, the United States, under a flag, a state contracting state flag, whereas though they entered treaty with Moroccan governments. Go, Amar, you got it? No, I'll keep going. That state shall give sympathetic consideration to their establishments on its territory. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? That state shall give sympathetic consideration to their establishments on its territory. Now that's connotative when they use that contracting state. But this makes it connotative. If you're the receiving state coming in, being granted a right to do a treaty, then that's not territory. The hosting state, that's territory. Now that can go either way. Contracting state mean that could be the hosting state. That is territory. So that's true. You got it, Amar? Article 11. Yes. You start from the beginning. We get to this. We open this up.
refugee seamen. This is Article 11 of the Refugee Treaty, Convention relating to the status of refugees of the 28th of July, 1951. So this is Article 11.
Mm-hmm.
Refugee seamen. In the case of refugees regularly servicing as crew members on board a ship flying the flag of a contracting state, that state shall give sympathetic consideration to their establishment on its territory and the issue of travel documents to them or their temporary admission to its territory, particularly with a view to facilitating their establishment in another country.
Let me explain something what's going on here. The mother goes into a hospital and she pushes out her baby, deliver her baby into a foreign jurisdiction. That's a vessel that falls under amity. Now your mother becomes a crew member because she signed documents to get welfare and to work for them in their programs. She's a crew. She's part of the crew now. So they have to now to give her documents. That means she don't have an identity. She don't have a status as a Moor. So now they take her children and the state becomes the parent. Where Abdullah broke down in a Saturday class, the state attorney general is the parent of the state. He represents the state. So he represents now everything that she got. She represents her, and he represents her belongings, which is her child. Now, she don't have a country, so they give her documents where she have to travel, move about, to go in to buy stuff. If they want to verify her identification, they give her this now. She got other documents. She want to get this. She want to travel on a plane. She go gets a passport. She will need a country, the jurisdiction. She need a passport. If she flies, she can't go off the ground unless she show an ID. So the state issued this to the mother that's abandoned, left her country. Left her country means you don't have knowledge. That's what it means. You don't have the knowledge to know that you're from your own land and that your ancient mother and fathers are the ones that signed these treaties and gave you protection. That's your inheritance insurance policy. You can't claim it because you haven't been educated. Language has the war that Professor Abdul is talking about is the silent war through education. They're not rounding you up, putting you in concentration camps. They declare war on you through language and education. So that way, they don't have to worry about you assembling yourself together and take care of your own personal affairs and regulate commerce on your own land and political and civics on your own land. Now, we go down to 12. We're going to deal with jurisdiction now. Read 12. Chapter 2, read 12. Now you're going to see why this jurisdiction thing here.
Chapter 2, Juridical Status, Article 12, Personal Status. The personal status of a refugee shall be governed by the law of the country of his domicile, or, if he has no domicile, by the law of the country of his residence.
Okay, Moors, this is how to get jurisdiction over you right here. Your mother pushed you out. You become part of their crew, member of what? Their corporation. Now you're residing and domicile in a political jurisdiction of the state. No, I'm not this Morocco land. No, I'm not this Morocco. You go in a building. They own it. You didn't they own a building that the architect drew and deposited to the county, and you living in it. Don't tell me you ain't in a political jurisdiction. You ain't protected by alienation because you don't know who you are. So this is how they get jurisdiction over your body. The domicile resident gives them jurisdiction to speak. That's called vineyard. They go back and say, okay, now they voluntarily taught you how to write in the jurisdiction. Say you live in the jurisdiction, you're not protected under alienation because you never say you are more. Come on now. See, me and Tam and Professor Abdullah, we read these documents. There's a lot of Moors out there that are not aware of this. So we got to bring this on an elementary level so you know what's going on. It starts with your mother. Professor Abdullah Wright, you left your mother and went to another mother. You become adopted now. When that happens now, that mother has a right to wean you and teach you as she see fit because you're living in her house. This is what they're doing. The political organization is not land. It is a cyber mental state of condition of thinking through language that puts you in the jurisdiction of the court. Professor Abdullah, right, the United States cannot have original jurisdiction. He gave a perfect example. A 16th century treaty that the United States wasn't even formed yet. The reason why they went in that court, because they was doctrinated in that education system, school system. The esquires are doctrinated that if they take a claim, it goes directly to the United States Supreme Court or a federal court. They don't know. But yet the treaty say, let's stop playing now. The treaty say they don't have jurisdiction. There are esquires of the Bar Association know this. They're called jurists. You never see them in courtrooms. They are the ones that are writing the policy and stuff for Congress. They know this, but they're not obligated to say it. But they are speaking out that you are depriving nationals here of that right by not giving the police force and claiming the clergy people that when you're dealing with a national, you have to deal with their rights. And that's on the treaty. So why educate them? See, come back to what he was saying, education in language. No, we can't do that. So they got to do a silent war through the language. Go ahead. Read that again. 1.
Article 12, personal status. Number 1, the personal status of a refugee shall be governed by the law of the country of his domicile, or, if he has no domicile, by the law of the country of his residence.
Okay, here go your mother going to the hospital now, put you now, let's sign a registration form. He broke the etymology of that. To take. They're taking it. They're burying it. That's a bond. It goes to the State Department and they bury it. They take and create it because they got a trust they create. They create a trust and put you in that trust. You're dead. You lost that seed. To them, you're dead. You're a refugee. You got no status. This is all an amity, maritime law jurisdiction, all day long. Now they have to give you all your identity and they got to create an identity for you now. Or that's what they're doing. Now they have a right, you apply for food stamps, housing assistance. You go in shelters when you can't get nothing, a place to sleep at. You go and get food vouchers from them. They got food banks for you. You want to move a commercial vehicle, you got to have a license. You want to go somewhere, they fill out a form, you got to have their identity card. I'm showing you that this is how they get jurisdiction. Then you're so weaned to talk and fraud and thinking fraud that you voluntarily give up your more sovereignty, because when they stop you, the key is not to let you say you are more. The ones that saying they're Moors, they don't even know that they got a right. You ain't got a right to no memorandum. You ain't got a right to remain silent. That doesn't apply to a Moor. Stop playing. No such thing. That's nonsense. You got a right to be read. Your rights under the treaty law gives Morocco original jurisdiction. Why they read you your rights? Because they say United States citizens got the original jurisdiction protection because they're assuming you're a refugee, a resident, or a citizen. They're assuming that. So now they got jurisdiction. This is how they get it. This is why every time you say you're a Moor, you know they want to kill you and beat you and stomp you. Everybody mad at you just for saying I'm a Moor. God damn, what the hell is going on here? But everybody at my collar for because I say I'm a Moor. Because it's something, separation. They got authority, they got power. And they don't want you to know it. Go ahead, Amar. Next one, 2.
2, rights previously acquired by a refugee and dependent on personal status, more particularly rights attaching to marriage, shall be respected by a contracting state, subject to compliance, if this be necessary, with the formalities required by the law of that state, provided that the right in question is one which would have been recognized by the law of that state had he not become a refugee.
Oh, did you hear that? Read that again. Moors, did you hear that? Read it again. Had he not become a refugee. Read that again.
2, Rights previously acquired by a refugee and dependent on personal status, more particularly rights attaching to marriage, shall be respected by a contracting state, subject to
Stop
compliance.
right there before we go any further. You know what the compliance is, right? You got to obey the state law. Getting a commercial vehicle, you got to get a driver's license. You want to go and get fill out certain credit cards, go in the bank, they want a state driver license, a state of origin driver license, compliance. You can't open an account. You go to IRS, they want a social security number. See, you see that they want that with the ID. That's compliance. You have to comply. You got to wear a mask now. That's compliance. Because you're part of that political organization. If you have a political structure that protects you, you wouldn't have to walk around no mask on. You'd be protected by your government. Your government already did diplomatic relationships, and they'd have met together and said, this is what we're going to do to secure the safety of this disease, this pandemic you got. Then they would put out to their people. They would step up as the guarantor and co-trustee and protect you. They were already did diplomatic ways. They won't have to even worry about that. Go ahead, Omar.
If this be necessary, with the formalities required by the law of that state, provided that the right in question is one which would have been recognized by the law of that state had he not become a refugee.
You hear that? More, y'all hear that? Now let me go to the UCC 1. Show you, oh, by the way, if you're a United States national, you're a refugee. Because United States national, it don't say that you in Morocco, you from Morocco, you in Morocco. Doesn't say a Moroccan national or a Moroccan or Moorish national. So we're not gonna sit here and play that game. Let's stop hurting our people. Let's stop taking from our people. Like the sisters say, let's stop going in our people's pockets and ripping them off. UCC 1 is a financial state with any trust, company, corporation, entity, or government created entity or government puts down and as a debtor, mean one that's a debt to someone through obligations, stipulations, and liabilities. And they become the public finance for that to run that government, like the people Moors. The Moors are down as Afro-Americans, Negroes, black and colored. Therefore, they're in a refugee status. Therefore, their body temple is used as collateral, and they become a surety. Now, the reason why they can use them because the land is abandoned. The states are abandoned. They are the heirs, but they consider as lunatics. They don't know who they are. And what they do is they use them. They use them as sureties, mean for trade, as collateral. They mean they as assets. And what happens is they're using them and they can get away with it because the people are not considered as value because they're refugees, they don't have a country. And they're becoming a financial burden on the public corporation, which is the state of origin, the political organization or entity, which is called a state. The provincial colony, a new name for a provincial colony is a state. And what happened is now they take the people and use them as collateral to build their wealth, because the people now will pay taxes, fines, fees. They will operate and work and give their money and resources into the economy that the state create and regulate. They can also take them and feed them the way they want, put them on a regulation of feeding and better regulation of treatment as far as medical treatment and healing their body. And they're able to do that without being accused of illegally trafficking bodies or people, and they can get away with also genocide and apartheid because the people are no value. Meaning that where's their government at? We're doing the best we can do. You know, and did they create what you call a pandemic or some kind of scene? Okay. So we're going back to the UCC 1. This UCC 1 is the United States Department of Defense, Homeland Security, and the Federal Reserve, the United States, the first one, which under the Lenape government, the second one under the Jubilee, the third one under 1871, the one under Roosevelt. All these United States are debtors. The Federal Reserve System that controls the money, the finance, is also a debtor for $14 trillion. United States is a debtor, $14 trillion. The secured party creditor is normally the one is the creditor, meaning the one that got a hold and control and over the debt, which is the debtor. Also the one that controls the bonds, paper money, the security. The United States Treasury holds and controlled by the British governments because they are the British crowns that signed the 1763 treaty. They are the United States, the provincial colonies. That's the Duke, Earls, Barons, and Counts, and Lords. Like William Penn, he was an esquire, but he's granted the title of a lord. And what they would do is they would go to the Privacy Council, which is the royal family. And the royal family would allow them a charter. Now, the United States, when the Queen or King of Great Britain entered a treaty with the United States in 1783, that was also upon advice of the Privacy Council, letting the United States, I'm talking now, I'm telling the truth, become a provincial colony. That means the esquires that wrote the Constitution acted in power as the lords under the royal family. So they was granted colony charter to form the United States of North America. So I can prove this. Me, Professor Abdullah, and Tam are putting together a curriculum now to show you from all the way from the start. Now, the United States, you notice, never patented its flag or its seal symbol because they've already existed. See, the flag the United States using is the flag of the Oregon country, and is also the flag of the England colony state, United England states colonies. That was something formed before the United States formed of North America. Now, United States is just provincial colonies. See, the reason why I have to tell the Moors, because this is one of the heavy things that are hanging over the Moors' head, that the United States esquires, we the people of the United States are the lords of prosperity that was granted these political jurisdictions to run industry, to settle for religion worship. They are we the people. The planners are nobody. Oh, the forefathers, you're not part of that. They don't consider you. You were talking about you a refugee. You came off a boat, immigration. And a sovereign power allows them to bring you here. So when you become? A pilgrim, you're a citizen now, you're a planner. You worked on a fort, an industry. So you're not we the people. You're not included into that. Oh boy, people burning now. I know they probably burning to hear this. You're not included to that. You're only establishing another league of companies, corporations, that's given permission by the lords. You can't do nothing without the Duke of York, Lord Penn family. You can't do nothing. What are you talking about? Where you get the sound power? We the people that saw. No, it wasn't. Ain't no planners. That's a private society. It's a fraternity order of the royal. Her privacy. She couldn't even enter that treaty with them. She couldn't even enter the treaty unless the Privacy Council approved that. See, a queen, the crown, had to go to the dukes, earl, counts, and barons to approve that. Because it divide the kingdom or split the kingdom. Because they're Rhodian blood too. They princes. So that's why you always say the queen or king upon the advice of his privacy council. You don't even know what the privacy council is. It's the royal family. Dukes, earls, counts, and barons. How I know I got documents to prove that William Penn was doing this, trying to his provincial colonies. William Penn wrote to them and went to meet them to get approval of his colony charter. So where the United States get approval from? Talk to me. Why they didn't patent that flag? Because it came under provincial colony flag. That's what it was already. It's patented by the crowns. Couldn't do nothing with it. That's why it's not patented in the Constitution. Come on, Moors, you better get this. If we're going to be running government, we got to know this. You can't be no clerk, no ministry serving the cabinet, serving as the upper and lower chamber, serving as a judiciary judge. You don't know this, and more, you don't know this stuff. No, you got to know this. The UCC 1 mean it's an agriculture lien. Not only on the land, please hear me out. When they say agriculture, that's talking about land, minerals, water, precious metals, and your body. Because your body more valuable than anything. You are the real salt of the earth. Your body is more valuable than anything. You're the only one that can give value, invoke value to something. You don't even go to the ground and say, what this worth? You don't even go to the ground and manufacture and build with it. Where's it? It ain't doing it itself. It got a Moor doing it. So the Moors are what? An agriculture lean. The Moors are a part of this because they don't know who they are. And they fall under refugee. Now, let me go down and UCC 1 is a financial statement. It's to be filed in the records, recorded, estate records. Notice it said, not to say real estate, it says state records. This, a UCC 1 is legal tender. When somebody put the debt and the creditor and put the wealth in this document and what the wealth is serial number under, identify it, this become a negotiable instrument now. United States Department of Defense and Finance and County Services also is a debtor. That means they're under control of this new organization now. That means the debtor, the creditor can come in and make a demand in world court. This is what I mean. Somebody said, they can't force, how they go? They can force this in a federal court and in the national court. International Court of Commerce, Chamber of Commerce. They can enforce this because the United States is a party to this as a debtor. So is the Federal Reserve. Now, this is very important to pay attention close to this. The secure party credits the North American water and power lines. Hear me now. We deal with agriculture, land, territory. North American water and power lines is the secure party creditor, along with the Treasury. Now, this is the description it reads. Please pay attention, Morris. It said, all real men with hand and legs. I'm going to stop there. Whew. You know what that's saying? You just like the pig, the cow, the goat. When time comes, you go into the slaughterhouse. Anytime somebody got you down as all men with legs and arms down, that's your body, as a debtor. That means they talk about once the United States, all these United States created, formed provincial colonies, they Defense Department, County Department, deal with money, defense to be protecting yourself. Anytime you're affiliated with them under the status as a resident, a citizen, or a United States national, you fall under this. This is what you fall under. You just like cattle. You like on a barnyard. You live in a cow, chicken farm, geese farm, a duck farm. Just like a fish that they spawn and mate in the pond so they can go and grab them out when they feel like it. They create your boundaries, your environment, feed you like they feed a fish, they feed a cow, put a bucket, some of the cow mouth, a cow go and drink the water, pig and whatever it is. The chicken go over there, do their thing. The geese, ducks, got the pond. They happy until they slaughter them. They make the environment, their boundaries. This was going on. And all real land in the United States of America, that cover all the United States, $14 trillion. With trust in God, this real estate is with the public. Out of the many, all 50 states, all cities, all counties, all properties. Here we go. One real estate in the United States of America. Now, you know what that one real estate is? That's when they moved to Philadelphia, New York and Philadelphia. They ain't had no real estate in the Indianapolis. They living on Indianapolis land. They living on a fort. That's not no real estate. They live in a fort. When they left there, they was given the real estate. So that means the White House, New York, Philadelphia, all these governments that was created, provincial governments, are nothing but under debt. And the North America water power lines is a secure party. Now, it's a good thing that we got this. We're going to look at the map. I don't think Tammy can don't worry about it. But there's a map that the North American water lines have. And right behind it, the map is drawn up here on the board. The map is drawn on the board, and what this here is not the map, geographic, the political jurisdictional map they draw, like Professor Abdullah saying in schools and stuff. This is a map that the water power lines is using to claim its agriculture lien. And believe me, that map is not the map under their political jurisdiction. You notice the regional breakdown, they got numbers for Canada, you know, reservoirs and all this. They break it down. So dealing with your resources. I mean, they could cut your resources off, hit a switch, cut the water off. That's why they're damming everything up. So you can cut your water off. Then they can turn around and cut your energy off. That's why you should be without no energy or a place where you got natural water. You can get your water. That's why we need our land, that land back. I'm going to go back to the Refugee Treaty and bring this thing in. We're going to start up top, then we're going to work our way back down to the other articles, but we're going to go back up to Article Well-Rounded Fair. That's Article 1, I believe. I believe it's Article 1. Yes. I believe that's Article 1, yes. You can, Amar, you can start at Article 1. For the proposal of the Convention to turn refugees shall apply to any person whom, you can start right there.
Article 1, definition of the term refugee. A, for the purposes of the present convention, the term refugee shall apply to any person who, 1, has been considered a refugee under the arrangements of the 12th of May, 1926 and 30th of June, 1928, or under conventions of the 28th of October, 1933 and the 10th of February, 1938, the protocol of 14th of September, 1939, or the Constitution of the International Refugee Organization. Decisions of non-eligibility taken by the International Refugee Organization during the period of its activities shall not prevent the status of refugee being accorded to persons who fulfill the conditions of paragraph 2 of this section. 2, as a result of events occurring before the 1st of January 1951, and owing to a well-founded fear of being persecuted for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion, is outside the country of his nationality and is unable or, owing to such fear, is unwilling to avail himself of the protection of that country.
Now, what we're doing is now, this is why the Moors can't assemble into assembly as a population. The Moors, they claim to follow their religion. The Moors claim to have their own political opinion based on their rights and their land. They're operating from social groups, meaning inside the state, speaking out inside the state as a part of their political party, and they outside their country. Now, let me explain what that means, outside your country. That don't mean physically outside your country. So let's please understand that. They're not going to give you the meaning of that. But outside your country is your mind. You could be in a condition of mind, a state of mind, that you don't even realize that this is your motherland. After hundreds of years of oppression, indoctrination, and social engineer, they have reached the final destination in brainwashing on a psychological control the people in where they won't speak, they won't think, and they won't see themselves in their own land. Now, when you get like that, you cannot get the protection of your mind or your protection of your right, because you know different than a man got hit in the head with a barbell. You're not yourself. That's what I mean. You're not yourself. So how can you claim the protection, Morocco being the original jurisdiction, and you don't know who you are? Moors are waking up now saying, I know I'm a Moor, but they don't see nothing. They don't hear nothing. They can't turn to nothing. They can't rely on someone to help them out. They don't see, they don't know what we're going to do. I'm scared, man. If I speak out, if I say I'm a Moor, I got my own government party, they're going to do this. They're going to run in there, they're going to lock me up. They're going to take my children and divide Sally and Fred's house. They ran in there, Fred is in jail. Sally, I'm telling the truth. People scared. Oh, man, what you gonna do? Who gonna protect us? See, they fair. Their religious group, their social group, race, which they created, religion, and nationality. Now, let me explain with nationality. Moors are coming conscious into being, I'm a Moor. That's Moor's consequentity blood. But you got to be able to keep them both together, status and nationality. You have absolutely every right, like any man and woman on the planet in a territorial land, to similar form of government. Please hear me out again. Nothing is going to be done if you're intimidated and you're scared. I'm keeping it real. Do you think Tamara, Abdullah, and me worry about being abducted by them? We educating the people. We are in a cycle, the original format of dealing with this thing through education. Abdullah ain't running around with a man walking with 100 rifles, walking behind down the street, leather jackets on. Abdullah walking with 100,000 people of this state. And, oh, yeah, listen, we more this our land. No, Abdullah is doing it the way you do it, to peaceful means, where nations cannot come against you, because that's how they did. That's how they got away with it, through education, teaching, schools. That's what we're doing. The Moors, men and women, men mob a man up, women mob a woman up, and get ready to whoop ignorance ass. Because that's where it's at. Take your foot, and when you knock fear down, step on fear ass like you never did before. And don't let fear get back up. If Timidation sister come running, knock her out too and stomp her ass. Don't let them wake back up. Because we ain't getting nowhere being scared, intimidated like that. They ain't going to do us no good. I'm serious. This is for real. We at a critical stage now. Let me explain something. I don't care how somebody feel about me. Doesn't make a difference to me. The fact of the matter is, you at war with somebody. You at war. You know the first war is? Ignorance, intimidation, and fear. That's created through language and indoctrination. Got to come out of that. Got to be one. Go back to our mother. The other mother don't knock you down. You've been 10 years old. She'll knock your teeth out your mouth. Done threw hot water in your dumb behind, and you still there. And you know where your mother at. I ain't messing with my mother, man. Shucks. I ain't going back over there. If she want me to do all this stuff, well, she just throw hot water on you. She just knocked your teeth out your mouth. Come on now. Come on, Mar. Let's read. U.S. national, refugee, you're not in your country. You got an ID. I'm a U.S. national. Man, I heard what you call. That's no, you're not. No, you're not. You're part of immigration now. You're in the association now. You're part of immigration now. I don't want to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. Be a Moor. Let's go, Amar. Paragraph 2, right?
Is outside the country of his nationality, or is unable, or owing to such fear is unwilling to avail himself of the protection of that country, or who, not having a nationality and being outside the country of his former habitual residence as a result of such events, is unable, or owing to such fear is unwilling to return to it.
Now, that's deep right there. That means in your mind, you ignorant, you don't know who you are, so you don't have a nationality. I mean, you got a nationality, but you don't have a status. You're not being recognized under that status. Yeah, sure, you're flesh and blood. Yeah, I'm a Moor. I'm melanated carbon man and woman. But your status is not tied to your melon and carbon as being the people here in Morocco. Now, you don't want to, after knowing this, after finding out this, you don't want to be protected under that because they got you scared. You in the fear. So you rather stay in the condition that you're in. What you mean? Let me go see if I find a way to exist in the system. I get a little bit more status. Oh, you know what? I can be a U.S. national, get a U.S. national passport. You're compromising your more status. Why can't you, see, let me explain something to you. Why can't you be a government body or ecclesiastic body and go to the people that signed the treaties with your foremothers and forefathers and work out a diplomatic solution to government-to-government relationship. Why you got to go into the system and become part of them as a citizen or a national? See, I'm not here to sell tickets. I'm not here to be a fabulous movie star. I'm here to help my people come together, become a population. Don't hurt nobody's feelings. Just do it. Be quiet, shh, and build. Learn, read, listen. Just build secretly. Stay out their way. Don't nobody know your business. Go out there and provide to your people a service. You got credentials. Give them something free that won't hurt you. You're working for yourself. Or if you're working for somebody, you have the time. Give them something. Make them sign. Become a part of your community. Education is the strongest way to do that. If you're a mechanic, you certify your license, take a space on Zoom, take a little car, go out there and show, do it on Zoom, and let them watch. Just look. And say, if you learn this much, I'll sponsor you. I'm part of this government community here. I'll give you a certification that you can go out there now so you can work for yourself and get your own income and keep it within our heads. Hedge it in among ourselves. See, we can do this. But we can't be scared. We can't be under fear. And we can't be intimidated. Come on, Mara. Let's go.
In the case of a person who has more than one nationality, the term, quote, the country of his nationality, unquote, shall mean each of the countries of which he is a national, and a person shall not be deemed to be lacking the protection of the country of his nationality if, without any valid reason based on well-founded fear, he has not availed himself of the protection of one of the countries of which he is a national.
Now, let me explain something so everybody get this right. See, I can be a United States national. That's not a country. Now, if you say Morocco signed a treaty with Great Britain and that I have an English name or Irish name under the treaty, I can use that name as an alien nation. That makes me still a national of that nation under alienation, and I still can keep my status as a Moor. So you got to break this down what this means. They go running. See, you could be a national. United States is not Great Britain. It's not France. It doesn't have the status of Ireland, Italy, Greece, Portuguese, Scotland, Germany, Russia. It does not have that status. It is the migrant descendants, immigrant descendants came off a boat from there that's living there, forming a political organization called United States of North America. It's not but provincial governments, which we the people, the Esquires, acting as laws, went to the Privacy Council to get permission to do what? And the crown sat off when it become a United States of North America. Come on now. That's not a country. It's not it's not a country under nationality clauses. I mean, there's no blood pedigree. It's not a country because you can't find it in Europe. You can't find it in Phoenician. They're not from the blood consequences, so there's no such thing as nationality with them. Please, let's stop playing with each other, pulling each other's leg. Let's go.
B, 1. For the purposes of this convention, the words, quote, events occurring before the 1st of January 1951, unquote, in Article 1, Section A, shall be understood to mean either 2. Any contracting state which has adopted alternative A may at any time extend its obligations by adopting alternative B by means of a notification addressed to the Secretary General of the United Nations. C. This convention shall cease to apply to any person falling under the terms of Section A if 1. He has voluntarily reavailed himself of the protection of the country of his nationality.
Stop right there. You heard that? Turn back to Morocco. If you say, I'm a Moor and I need to be protected by the treaties, that means the sovereignty of Morocco already exists before the treaties were signed. Therefore, you got a right to protection. If I say I turn back to the protection of my country, this is Morocco. And guess what? Now I'm protected in my nationality. Now I got it back. Now this say that this refugee convention does not apply. It didn't say become a national of a foreign country. Read that again, Amar. One.
He has
Excuse
voluntarily.
me, we see.
C. This convention shall cease to apply to any person falling under the terms of Section A if 1. He has voluntarily reavailed himself of the protection of the country of his nationality.
Stop right there. The societies that the caucus have formed, that put together the United Republic of Morocco, what we did was us, our families, helping the people by reclaiming, we reavailing ourselves of the protection under these treaties, and we're saying that this is Morocco and that we're from Morocco. What we're doing is showing the love of the illuminated and wisdom that we have. We giving it to you. We sharing the light, the glorious light that the sun shared to give you light, and reflect the moon at night to give you light. That's what we do. We reflect in the glory to give it to you. And now you can't say that we selfish. You can't say we for ourselves, because we're not doing this for ourselves. We're doing it for every more here in North Central South Morocco, Atlantis, Amexem, Turtle Island. This is what we want. Now, why could we say that? We got works. We got works like no one else got. We got works. Please hear me out. Put us on the scales of my eye, and you will weigh us, and we'll come out balanced, because we got works. We're not just talking. We're building infrastructure, mental infrastructure. The land is here already. We can't build. The land is ours. We got to build on the land. But what we got to do, build on the real estate, our bodies, get our mind back, build in our mind, infrastructure. So we can get back structure control of the land, so our bodies be free from being in servitude. I want to read that again. I want to sink this in. Read C and 1 again.
C. This convention shall cease to apply to any person falling under the terms of Section A if 1. He has voluntarily reavailed himself of the protection of the country of his nationality.
Stop right there. Did it say become a United States citizen? Omar, it said become a United States citizen. It's saying fill out a form and attach an affidavit and declaration and become a United States national. You get your nationality back. It say fill out a homeland security form and individualism. You don't need nobody else. Self-I and master. Go down and fill out your form and tell them who you are and fill it out. Do it say that?
No.
I'm gonna explain. Go read the next one, and I'm gonna explain. Reavail yourself of your country, because Professor Abdullah went to that when he was up and he was explaining that. I'm gonna go right back to that. Let's go.
Or 2. Having lost his nationality, he has voluntarily reacquired it.
Excuse me, stop right there. You only can do that through education, being taught the proper concepts. Error and concepts, fraudulent conveyance through language, you can't get nothing from that. We have to make sure that the language, the thinking, the writing, and the saying, speaking is proper. And we have to be able to assemble, because see, these international nations know when you say I'm voluntarily, I know who I am, that means you can break all the shackles. That's cracking the codes right there. Oh, UCC1, look at the man with a chain, crack the codes. They can't crack the codes. They from another side of the world. They can't crack nothing. You got the crack. That's in you. The Christ are raising in you to do that. It picks who it wants to get his people out of it too. Got a problem here. Read 1 and 2 again. They got to sink this in.
C. This convention shall cease to apply to any person falling under the terms of Section A if 1. He has voluntarily reavailed himself of the protection of the country of his nationality, or 2. Having lost his nationality, he has voluntarily reacquired it, or 3. He has acquired a new nationality and enjoys the protection of the country of his new nationality.
Keep going.
Or 4. He has voluntarily re-established himself in the country which he left or outside which he remained owing to fear of persecution.
Now, let me explain what that means. That means when you was indoctrinated, you brought up in a system that taught you a lie and fraud. and stole your inheritance and stole called birthright, stole your birthright. Once you realize what happened and you come to the knowledge and science of who you are, the form of prosecution and fear that they put on your fear tax doesn't mean nothing anymore because you're coming over here now and you're willing to stay here without any because okay what they do. You're going to stay here. Abdullah. Abdullah. I'll read that again, Omar. I'll read 2 and 3, 4 and 5 again. Abdullah can alliterate on that, dealing with that fear thing. Yeah.
C. This convention shall cease to apply to any person falling under the terms of Section A if 1. He has voluntarily reavailed himself of the protection of the country of his nationality, or 2. Having lost his nationality, he has voluntarily reacquired it, or 3. He has acquired a new nationality and enjoys the protection of the country of his new nationality, or 4. He has voluntarily re-established himself in the country which he left or outside which he remained owing to fear of persecution, or 5. He can no longer, because the circumstances in connection with which he has been recognized as a refugee have ceased to exist, continue to refuse to avail himself of the protection of the country of his nationality.
By now,
Provided that this paragraph shall not apply to a refugee falling under Section A1 of this article, who is able to invoke compelling reasons arising out of previous persecution for refusing to avail himself of the protection of the country of nationality.
all right. In the international community, nationality has been interchanged with citizenship. We all know, we've been teaching over the years that nationality is tied to blood, consanguinity, pedigree, ancestry, lineage, descent. So of course you can't lose your blood. You know what I mean? I mean your consanguinity, your ancestry. You can't lose that. So there's there is some color in this. All right. Having lost his nationality, if we haven't lost our nationality, the status, the protection, the treaty protections is lost. The sovereignty, more sovereignty has been relinquished, but the loss of our nationality, absolutely not. So we're gonna let's translate that loss of nationality, the loss of the protection of more treaties, the relinquishing of more sovereignty, the loss of control of our land and resources. That's what we lost, but not our nationality. So that's your consanguinity, ancestry, your descent, pedigree, lineage. That has not been lost. The knowledge of your consanguinity, has been lost. But the actual nationality has not been lost. It can't be. All right. So we have to be clear on that. We're going to be teaching the international community on the proper definition of nationality. We are not falling for the colored definition of nationality. In 1948, United Nations Human Rights Proclamation, Article 15, everyone has a right to a name and nationality. Or Section 2, Article 15, Section 2 reads, everyone has a right to change his nationality. You can't change your nationality. So what is that? How is that being used? We ask your question. How is that being used? You put your jurist headdress on. How is that being used? You can't change your nationality. So, as I said before, nationality has been interchanged with citizenship. There are, if you Google the acquisition of nationality, the 5 modes of the acquisition of nationality, the 5 modes of the acquisition of nationality. The, in the international law, they have what's called the 5 modes of the acquisition of nationality. Acquisition of nationality. Acquisition all right, the 5 modes of the acquisition of nationality. The key word is acquisition. The key word is acquisition. I can acquire a dry eraser. I can also inherit a dry eraser. All right. I can acquire a book. All right. Also, I can inherit it as well. Past. All right. All right. So, but when it comes to, all right, we know that this is blood. We know that this is blood. So, do you acquire blood? Do you acquire consanguinity? Do you acquire ancestry? Do you acquire descent? Do you acquire lineage? Lineage, put in the middle. All right. Do you acquire lineage? Do you acquire pedigree? All right. Do you acquire parentage? All right. So, my mother, I'm in my mother's womb, connected. There was a placenta, the umbilical cord. That's a, so you're looking at nationality, that's biology. This is biology. It has a political function application, but right now we're talking about biology. You're talking biology. You're talking genetics. All right. So that's you inherit. You inherit, not acquire. You inherit, not acquire. So this is colored. We have to come to this knowledge to see not just something like that, but any deception in language. We have to be able to recognize deception in language. Not just this, any deception in language. So that's grammar, etymology, semantics, pragmatics, phonology, morphology, epistemology. We have to come to be able to recognize, to rule, to govern again. If we don't learn the principles of grammar, etymology, epistemology, semantics, pragmatics. We're just going to what? Relinquish the sovereignty again. We'll be writing ourselves back into servitude. We'll be writing ourselves back into servitude. We must be able to write, be able to see deception like this. All right? So, acquisition doesn't tie to, it's inherent. Inherit. You inherit. So you have one here, they have one of the 5 modes is naturalization. Another mode they have here is called subjugation. But this is deception though. So we've been subjugated by foreign powers in our own land. Subjugated by the Spaniards. Subjugated by the Portuguese. Subjugated by the French. Subjugated by the Dutch. Subjugated by the English in our own land. And United States is the agent, the Bar Association, the Esquires, the agents of the Vatican, Great Britain, France, the Netherlands, Portugal, France. So, all right. So looking at this, so I wanted to be clear on this deception here. It's inherent. And so it wouldn't be 5 modes. All the pedigree, parentage, blood, consanguinity, ancestry, descent, lineage tied to nationality. All right? We need to fix that in our minds. What's that? I'll put the sentence on the board for a few minutes. Did you check that you look at this, check explain this map? All right. All right. What this question here? All right, when results, remedy. All right, on Wednesday nights. On Wednesday nights, let me pull it as I pull it up here. All right. On Wednesday nights at 7:30, from 7:30 to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, but I want to get it so I can read it though. I know it's strong. I got it. Just give me 3 seconds. I just need 3 seconds. That's all I need. 3 seconds. All right. Join Moorish Inherited and join Moorish and Pure Restoration Caucus on Zoom for weekly provincial body politic formation and education to aid in the restoration of our Moorish and Pure Divan. Every Wednesday, and we had a meet and greet the week prior to March 31st. So March 31st was the first of the Wednesday classes, and so we have you'll see there the meeting ID and password. All right, so that's every Wednesday from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the remedy. That is the remedy. All right. A lot of us want it 100 years ago. I get it. You want it 100 years ago. I get it. I want to see results. I get it. You won 100 years ago. I get it. You want to bypass the educational process. I get it. That's not practical. That's not practical thinking. You're not going to take an ignorant body of people anywhere. You're not going to do anything with an ignorant body of people. Hear me. I get it. You wanted 100 years ago. I get it. Please be part of the process. I'll see you on Wednesday night at 7:30. Be part of the process. Go out to your communities and help facilitate a permanent population. The result, you become part of the results. You become part of the results. You're not going to do anything with an ignorant body of people. You must see education as a remedy. You must see education as a remedy. A people who's been raped mentally for over 200 years, lacking the knowledge of their history, of the treaty protection, of their nationality, their birthright, etymology, epistemology, grammar, jurisprudence, lacking the knowledge of the ancient culture of astronomy, mind science development, lacking the knowledge. You're not going to do anything with these people if you don't educate them. You must see that education is a remedy. What do you do now? Education. Wednesday night. See you on 7:30 Wednesday night. All right, we have, I'm going to put a shorter sentence. We have an upcoming 12-week online grammar course starting June 17th through September 2nd. It'll be every Thursday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. About our program. The instructor, yours truly, Abdullah Talib Mosi Bey. The 12-week grammar course is designed to aid students in improving their reading and writing skills by teaching students how to write and analyze noun, adjective, and adverbial clauses. Through this intensive study, students will be able to read long sentences in treaties, agreements, conventions, and other lawful instruments, as well as books written in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, and early 1900s. Enroll now. Go to UnitedRepublicOfMorocco.com and click on Academy of Province. Go to UnitedRepublicOfMorocco.com and click on Academy of Providence. Hooked on Grammar 201. The class will be virtual, Zoom virtual, as well as in class. The great thing is about the class will be recorded. This will be my first time teaching the 12-week class on clauses. I've taught grammar over the years, but I was taught this way at Temple University Pan-African Study Community Education Program, and I took the grammar course that I will be teaching in the spring of 1999. So you're talking about 22 years ago, and I never taught in 22 years the 12-week course, which I'll be teaching next month. The 12-week course on noun clauses, adjective clauses, and adverbial clauses. I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. And when I took it, it wasn't recorded. So this is great. All right. And there's a help you to read long sentences. Do we have time for it or no? All right. All right. So see you, all right, on Wednesday. The result. You want results. Be part of the helping, be part of it. Don't sit back. And just watch. Don't sit back and just watch and say, what's the results? What's the remedy? Don't sit back and watch. We see you on Wednesday night. We'll see you Wednesday night, 7:30. 7:30. Be part of it. Don't be in the spectator. Don't be a spectator. Let me see what they're going to do. Let me see what they're going to do. I've seen that 27 years. I've seen it. I've seen the spectators. Be part of it. Why just watch us do the work? Don't you want to be part of it? All right, we have any questions? We have a question. Time for one question. Time for one question. All right, remedy. All right, so I answered the question. Wednesday night. All right. Well, Wednesday night is part of the part is the remedy. Wednesday night, because they have to be part of Wednesday night. They have to be. They have to be. My point I'm making is they have to be part of the process. That's what I'm emphasizing Wednesday night because it's important that they be part of the process. All right. So the criteria for statehood, which you'll be part of the process to help facilitate this. What I'm about to read, you're going to be helping to facilitate what I'm about to read. Don't just sit back and look at us. You'll be part of the process to help facilitate this. The criteria for statehood. Article 1 of the Montevideo Convention on Rights and Duties of States provides, quote, the state as a person of international law should possess the following qualifications. A permanent population. B, a defined territory. C, government. D, capacity to enter into relations with the other states. This brief enumeration is often cited, but it is no more than a basis for further investigation. Not all the conditions are necessary, and in any case, further criteria must be employed to produce a working definition, which you'll be part of the process. A, population. The Montevideo Convention refers to a permanent population, which you'll be part of the process in your area to help facilitate. This criterion is intended to be used in association with that of territory and connotes a stable community. Eventually, evidentially, this is important since in the absence of the physical basis for an organized community, it will be difficult to establish the existence of a state. B, define territory, which you'll be part of the process. I'm emphasizing that. There must be reasonable, stable political community, and this must be in control of a certain area. It is clear that the existence of fully defined frontiers is not required, and that what matters is the effective establishment of a political community. There is no fixed lower limit either of population or territory, and some recognized states have tiny quantities of both. C, government. A state is a stable political community supporting a legal order. A stable political community supporting a legal order to the exclusion of others in a given area. The existence of effective government with centralized administration and legal and legislative organs is the best evidence of a stable political community. Independence. D. Independence is the decisive criteria of statehood. All right. So I emphasize the importance of you being involved and not being a spectator and not watching us or sitting by while we do all the work. You must be part of the results. We must emphasize that. You must be part of the results. You are part of the results. You are part of it. You're the results. You're the remedy. Your involvement is the remedy. I mean, we have to emphasize that. I mean, 27 years of observation is it's been pathetic. Pathetic. We've done a pissy poor job in reaching out to the community. Pissy poor. We get an F. I give us an F. An F for reaching out to the community. We get an F. An F minus. An F minus. Let's go out to our communities. Wake our people up. All right. Thank you again. All right. Peace, everyone.